The cold wind carried the scent of roasted peanuts and car exhaust as people hurried past, eyes fixed on their phones or their destinations. On a small corner near the park, a folding table had been set up, covered with sketches, paintings, and watercolors. Some were bright and hopeful as sunflowers reaching toward the sky, children laughing by the river. Others were more somber, stormy skies, a lonely figure sitting beneath a tree. Behind the table sat a frail girl with tired eyes and a wool hat covering her bald head. Her name was Emily, and she was just 16. She wasn't out there for recognition, or fame, or even school credit. She was there because she had no other choice. The chemo treatments that kept her alive were draining her family's savings faster than they could keep up. Her father worked double shifts, her mother skipped meals so Emily could eat, and her little brother had given up soccer because they couldn't afford the fees. Emily hated watching her family suffer because of her illness. So, she picked up her brushes, packed her courage, and put her soul on canvas, hoping that someone, anyone, might see the value in her art. $2, ma'am. Please see, it'll help me keep painting, she whispered to a woman who paused to look at a watercolor of a sunrise. The woman smiled awkwardly and dropped a coin in the jar, but didn't take the painting. Emily tried to hide her disappointment, clutching her sketchbook tighter. The day dragged on. Some people offered pitying smiles, others ignored her entirely. She sold just 3 small sketches, earning less than enough to cover even a fraction of one treatment. Her fingers trembled from the cold, but she forced herself to stay. She had promised herself she wouldn't leave until every painting had a home. And then it happened. A tall figure in a dark coat stopped right in front of her table. Emily looked up and almost gasped as she recognized him instantly. Senator John Kennedy, known for his sharp wit and plain-spoken honesty, was standing there, studying her work with a seriousness that made her heart race. People nearby slowed, whispering in surprise, unsure if they were really seeing what they thought. He picked up a painting, a stormy sky breaking into sunlight. "This yours?" he asked, his southern drawl gentle but firm. Emily nodded, her voice catching in her throat. "Yes, sir. A broken bar I paint to help pay for my chemo." Kennedy's eyes softened, and for a moment, the bustling street faded into silence. He set the painting back down carefully, almost reverently. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out his wallet. Without hesitation, he placed a thick stack of bills on the table. Gasps rippled through the small crowd that had gathered. "That should cover all of AM," he said. "But I don't want the paintings. I want you to keep painting for yourself." Emily's eyes widened, her lips trembling. "Yeah, I don't understand a broken bar." Kennedy leaned down so he was eye level with her. "Darling, your art is worth more than you realize. But more than that, you are worth more. Don't ever forget that." Tears streamed down her face as her mother, who had been standing a few feet away, rushed forward and wrapped Emily in her arms. The crowd began clapping, some even crying. Strangers started pulling out wallets, tossing money into her jar, buying paintings, and offering donations. What had started as a lonely table on a windy corner became a wave of kindness, sparked by one man's unexpected gesture. Emily's story spread quickly. Within days, local news picked it up. Donations poured in from across the country. Her treatments were fully covered, and her family no longer had to choose between bills and medicine. More than that, Emily's artwork found its way into homes across the nation. Her canvases carrying not just colors and strokes, but her strength, her hope, and her fight. Months later, after a long battle, Emily walked into her final treatment session with her sketchbook under her arm. On the very first page, she had drawn the scene she would never forget: a folding table on a windy street corner, her paintings fluttering, and a kind man in a dark coat kneeling down to remind her of her worth. She survived, not just because of medicine, but because someone believed in her when she needed it most. And in every brushstroke she painted afterward, there was a piece of that moment, a reminder that compassion, even from a stranger, can change the entire course of a life. By the end, Emily's story wasn't about cancer or hardship. It was about hope, courage, and the way a single act of kindness could ripple out into something far greater than anyone could imagine. And for everyone who heard it, there was one unforgettable message: You never know how much good you can do by simply stopping, listening, and caring.